Let's get into some news because there's a lot of interesting stuff that could have ramifications down the road. But first of all, we got to talk about the success of the Batman and its subsequent spin-offs, as it seems like one of the spin-offs has kind of shifted direction to a new story avenue, I guess we'll call it, or a new location, so to speak. And that is the supposed GCPD spin-off show for the Batman that Matt Reeves has been working on. He said it's kind of has shifted away from that to becoming an show about Arkham Asylum. I'm going, oh, there's a lot of interesting possibilities here. Is it still going to be a GCPD show, but is it going to be GCPD with an emphasis on Asylum? Are we getting away from the GCPD part of it in general? This is very interesting to me. There's a lot of interesting routes. My mind immediately goes to like, okay, is this how we're going to introduce the rogues gallery of like, it's the GCPD tracking down and arresting some of the, no offense, but lower level people in Matt Reeves' universe? Like, I know we're getting Firefly and Batgirl, but like Firefly or Clock King or Victor Zsasz would be perfect for this show that could get thrown into Arkham Asylum. However, if I'm Matt Reeves, I would do something different, like really different. Throw out the GCPD concept. If we're doing something with Arkham Asylum, have it be about the origins of the Arkham Asylum itself, with Amadeus Arkham, how he went insane. And I'm basing this solely off of the Arkham Asylum video game, but have it don't be tied down to the timeline constraints of your current movies. I'm sure that's what they want to do to expand the universe more, but I think it'd be more interesting if you expand the universe from filling out the back, so to speak, and it's not going to run into that era of, well, are we going to see Bruce Wayne's parents get shot again? I'm like, let's not, because thank God that doesn't happen in the Batman. Spoiler alert, I guess. You don't see Batman's parents die. But this would be set way in the past. I think the founding of Arkham Asylum, with maybe have it be like kind of the Shining-esque of Amadeus Arkham founds Arkham Asylum for good purposes of like, we are going to rehabilitate. And then he slowly starts losing his mind, and basically it goes from an actual credible rehabilitation center to the definition of the nut house. I think that could be interesting, but I would not be surprised at all if this show is used to introduce other Batman villains that they might not have film plans for, but they want to flesh out the universe more, because the Batman has a lot of villains, but they're used well for the larger narrative of their pieces on a chessboard, so to speak, and I would like to see that happen more. I do kind of get tired of comic book movies going, all right, here's your main villain. He's the only villainous character in this. Like, Batman's got a lot of characters. Let's use some other ones to slot in somewhere. So maybe that's what we're going on here. I still kind of want to keep some of the GCPD aspect, though, because I think that sounded interesting. There's just a lot of interesting avenues to go with this, and I don't really know what he means by this, but it could also be early enough in the development stage that they don't really know what this is shaping up to be just yet. Arkham Asylum show or GCPD show? If you had a choice of the two, which would you rather see?
Well, we kind of already have a GCPD show, and that's Gotham.
It was for the first two seasons, and then it's just villains galore.
Yeah. No, I think it'd be better to focus on Arkham Asylum, especially like if this is going to be like extra content, not necessarily directly driving what happens in the films. Then this just needs to be extra content. Like, hey, like, so kind of like how my experience of the books is, right, of the Harry Potter books is right now. Like, hey, this is the movies. If you want a little bit more information, go read the books. Like, I'm down. Absolutely. I do think the easy route is to kind of do a anthology series of sorts with the people in Arkham. What you could do would be, and I'm trying to come up with something that's a little different than yours, but isn't exactly an anthology. So let's try to combine these concepts of the GCPD and including an Arkham Asylum. Maybe have them let's just say Gordon for the sake of it, has to is try to solve a specific crime. And there's happens to be a lot of people involved, and so he has to interview lots of people that happen to be in Arkham Asylum. That way we can meet people while we're still heading towards a specific goal. Um, Maybe they do Zaz for their first season, and so in order to understand more about Zaz, that he has to go to Arkham to interview certain accomplices and people that might have known him and stuff like that. That's just to catch him. Obviously, this is me saying this without having seen the movie at all, so I don't know how. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, Arkham
but yeah.
does not
That's
really factor into the movie. It's there at the end, obviously, to set up future things. But yeah, Arkham doesn't really play a factor in it. But I would like to spend more time there and see kind of what this version of Arkham is like, because we've seen like the Nolan Arkham, we've seen the Burton Arkham, and seen how they're different. I'd like to spend more time with the Matt Reeves one to kind of see what that one
yeah,
would be like. But I know there's a very famous Batman comic. I think it's just called Batman, maybe Asylum, I think,
probably.
or something like that. I think it's Batman trapped in. It's what the game was heavily inspired by. Basically Batman trapped inside Arkham Asylum. Swap out Batman for a couple of GCPD, basically. I think that could be really fun. Make it like a horror show of these characters trapped in a location, like Resident Evil, except good, basically. Of just have this squad that slowly starts getting picked off.
It's just the raid, but with white guys.
I would not mind a GCPD with the
Yeah,
raid.
yeah. We're opposite where they're stuck at the top of an apartment complex and they have to fight their way out. Um, I kind of like that actually. How and each that season maybe only have a select few villains because you don't want to overcrowd stuff. It'll be interesting to see if, and I don't think that they've confirmed this yet or not, that that this is like taking place in a different universe than James Gunn's
It
Suicide
is.
Squad
It's
movies.
yeah.
Okay,
They've confirmed that.
okay, cool, cool.
There's nothing in the
Well,
movie that says that, but they've confirmed it.
okay, which is fine. I'm totally down with that. Like, yeah. The only thing I was gonna say was like it'd be interesting to have like Calendar Man, at least that version of Calendar Man, show up and like he's like this like a funny dude and he's terrifying. But yeah, I don't know.
I
It could
still
be
want
fun.
like the Arkham City Calendar Man of like a Hannibal Lecter esque that I think could be
Yeah,
really really fun. Um, but yeah, I just kind of want these projects to go in development because we got the Penguin. I'm like, so when are y'all starting this? Like, the
hmm
Batman's great, and I want to spend more time in that world. Can we just get some forward progress on that, some forward momentum, please? But yeah, I think it's only a matter of time.